How we doing? How we doing, folks? Hello, hello, hi, gigpreneur. What is going on? Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. I am Sean Zamy with SideGigSean.com, and I help folks like you, like me, create an extra source of income using online and social media. If that is you, drop the word me in the comments. I'll get back with you after this live. What is happening? If you are joining me live, let me know where you are tuning in from. It would always be nice. Hi, Tana June. I see you on Instagram. What is going on? We are live on all channels: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, later X, Threads, and LinkedIn. What is going on? Let me know where you're tuning in from. Would be nice to know. It's always nice to know when you're hosting a live. A bunch of people when they join, it's nice to know where you are tuning in from. I myself, I'm from Southern California. It's been up and down, warm during the day, and then boom, gets chilly at night, in the afternoon, late, early evening. So where are you guys coming in from? I got people from all over the world, which is kind of cool. So tonight I want to talk about a couple things you got to be able to hide. This may be a shocker to a few of you, because normally you'd want to like let these loose and be out in the public with them. Maybe perhaps after this live you'll reconsider, not go and tell the world about these two things. It's good to know. It's good to hide these two things. So you may wonder, like, what is it? What do I gotta hide? Well, one is I would I'll start it with this. Somebody goes, buys a house and pays for it cash, and then tells everybody else and the family and the friends around them that, hey, I got a small loan on the house, right? They go buy a very expensive car and they tell everybody else that, hey, I got a really good deal on it. It was a last year's model, if you would. Or they do, big things and accomplish big things, and they just don't tell people all about it. And then there are those kinds of people where they're going through such a rough time and a hard time, and they're just really quiet about what they're going through, right? Their stories are just really on the down low, if you would. So the two things you got to be able to hide well, and you got to do it. And the thing is this: we get enough practice, right? Because these things come and go. One is your troubles. You want to be transparent. I am all about that. Whatever I share with you is the truth. I'm being me. I'm being 100% transparent. And if there's something that I don't share with you, it's just you wouldn't even know about it. So it's not like I would share something half-ass, excuse me, right? Or I would just share parts of something and not be transparent about others. It just wouldn't be me. So I either would share things with you, or if it's too personal, or if it's something that I don't want to share, I just completely hold back. I am actually, well, among friends and family, I'm pretty known as you may think I'm very loud. He's an extrovert and this and that. In fact, I'm actually an introvert, believe it or not. I've taken a personality test, a couple of them actually, and I am an introvert. So don't fool yourself. I'm definitely an introvert. To my friends and family, they know that I may be loud and whatnot, but I'm very private. Like I may be loud, but it's not loud about everything that I'm going through, everything about my life. I don't definitely gossip. I'm just not that guy. And I don't share a lot about myself unless you're super close to me, what I call in my immediate circle. If you are, and if you're curious, then I will tell you. Not even, I would not just come up and say, hey, it's just not my style. So, one thing you got to be really good at hiding, and I don't mean like hide it in a way like, like you're being weird about it, like you kind of show it a little bit and then hide it so people know. I'm talking about just kind of just keep it in your side. Sometimes you got to keep the troubles inside. Listen, not a lot of people care about what you're going through. I'm just being very truthful. Hey, 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 what is going on? I'm just being very truthful. Truthful. Not a lot of people care what you're going through, because in their mind, they can top what you're going through with what they're going through. Drop a one in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. Drop a one in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. Most people don't really care what you're going through, like I said, because they feel like what they're going through is all thank you. It's a lot more than what you're going through. They're just waiting for you to be done and say, how are you doing? So they can just they tell you about how competitive they are in their crappy stuff, right? Thank you for the ones, right? So I'm not the only one, right? So you want to be good at hiding your troubles. Be transparent with what you share. With what you don't want to, just keep it, and yeah, nobody gives, really nobody. I mean, these days especially, I feel like everybody is just waiting to pop. You just say one thing and just they just explode. I don't know if you've seen the movie Talladega Nights. If you've seen it, drop a two in the comments. It's one of my favorite movies. There's a scene in there that he's delivering a pizza. Oh, you've seen it? Yes, he's delivering the pizza in the bus, and then he tells this guy, "Hey, how's your day?" And this guy just unloads like, my grandma died and lost a finger, or my dog ate a finger, and he just goes on and on and on. And then at the end, he turns around, he goes, I really regret saying hi to you. It's like that story with everybody. It's like as soon as you say something, they're like, oh, that's nothing. Wait until you hear what I'm going through. Right? So be really good at hiding your troubles. The second thing you want to be really good at hiding is hide your talents, or at least some of your wealth, right? Because that brings jealousy. And it's not a good thing. It's not a good vibe, right? Sometimes you don't need to be so loud about your lifestyle. Sometimes you don't have to be so loud about every single treasure thing that you have and that you do, and you got this wild, expensive clubs and dinners, and sometimes you don't have to be that loud. Sometimes it's good to hide some of that back, because it's one thing to have that, enjoy, and and be prosperous. The other thing is you may be showing that, and the wrong person may take it all in the wrong way and not use it as an inspiration. And they would use it as jealousy, hate. Oh, that person, right? So be good at hiding some of that stuff, some of the joy, even. Sometimes, you I've heard, hey, maybe I'm the only one. Drop a three if you've gone through this, or if you've felt this before. There's people that, like, if you're laughing and you're joyful and you're having a good time, They're like, what's wrong with you? Why are you always in a good mood? Right? Oh, Jennifer, what's up? Right? So it's like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be like, right? So hide some of that stuff. Some of that stuff you got to hold back. The trouble, again, it's both sides, right? You got the troubles and you got the joy and the wealth, you got the poverty and you got the wealth. So, hey, listen, you're going through a super hard time. If you're going to share your story, be sure that if you're like somewhere in the middle of this whole thing and you haven't really accomplished what you want to accomplish, if you're sharing some of your story, make sure you don't leave people hanging. People don't like to be left in your pain. People don't like to be just left alone in your troubles. It's like, I'm going through this, 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 this. Is there an end to this? No, I'm just going through this. People like a triumphant story. People like a story from rags to riches. That's when they'll pay attention to your pain. Because there's something at the end of this. Everybody's got pain. So if you're going to tell your story, make sure you're on a journey. You're going places. You're taking yourself out of this situation no matter what. You're working towards that, right? So that part of your story you got to share. But I'm telling you, sometimes it's best to keep the troubles and the joy and the triumph and the success, some of that stuff, it's good to keep back, and not be so loud about it. So question, if people don't leave left alone in your pain, what's the point of carrying them on? Yeah, that's a good question. So here's what I would share with you. I would share this thought with you. If you are willing to do something for someone, it has to be regardless of the return, which means in this case you would have zero ROI. You would just have to take it as you have no return on investment, right? So what that means is that if you have a little tiny expectation, is that expectation is always going to lead you to disappointment. It's never going to be like, oh, my expectations were met. It's always, even if you have this much, they're going to come in a little short, right? So if you have expectations from people, then I would just drop that. That's the first thing. Give regardless. Now, the second part to this is be specific with whom you give your kindness to, right? You have a choice. You have a choice to pick and choose who you want to be kind to, right? Now, the whole idea is, yeah, I want to be kind to everybody, but let's just be truthful about it. Some people are not meant for you to be kind to. Some people are not meant for me to be kind to, right? So there's always that choice, right? And then if you are kind to that person and it ends up backfiring, which I've had that happen, have had that happen. I would say it's an expensive one, but you learn. You learn, right? So what happens when you're left with nothing? Yeah, guests. Okay, so I don't have guests up. I'll come back to Apple user. I'll come back to you in a second. I don't have guests up. In 2025 I'll start again. I was doing this. I've stopped for a few months, but I have a section called Thursdays with Sean where I actually bring up a guest, and we've kind of prepared this, and it's an interview style where I bring somebody, and the whole thing is my whole thing is all about stories. So you'll often hear me say stories are meant to be shared, not stored. And Thursdays, I bring somebody who is on top of, is doing good things for the community, for the world, for themselves, for the family. They're successful, but it hasn't always been that way. So my whole thing with Thursdays with Sean is you see the glory, but you don't know the story. So that will start 2025. My first guest in January, the first Thursday. It's every Thursday, obviously Thursdays with Sean. So that's that. So what happens when you're left with nothing? If you say you're left with nothing, you did it with expectation. Because being kind to somebody should not take away from you. If it's taken away from you, then you're doing it out of expectation because you want something out of it. Now, it may not be that immediate, right? I may help a friend out move today. I don't want to, but I know I'm going to move in 4 months. So I'm going to, call them up again, right? So if you feel like you are left with nothing, one is that it most likely came out of expectation, and two is that maybe you got to be, and I did a live on this a few nights ago, but you got to be full of you, right? You can't give something you don't have, right? I mean, it's kind of hard to give something you don't have. So if you don't have it, then it's kind of hard to give that. But if you are, then you're like, you know what? I do it because I wanted to be kind. Didn't turn out that way. Sucks. I learned. I got burnt. I move on. What can you do? Right? But if you feel that it left something empty there, it's just because you were expecting something to go in, right? So hopefully that helps out. I have heard, and so far this is confirmed, that TikTok is going to be banned in US as of January 18th. So for those of you who are new and watching me on TikTok, if you like my content, you may not even know what my content is, but if you like my content, be sure to follow me on other channels: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, Threads, and LinkedIn. I go with Side Gig Sean. That's my brand that I'm focusing on. And what I do is simple. After life hit me, I often say, you don't get restricted, but you get redirected. So if you ever had a couple of doors like slam shut in your face, like this, it's not because we're getting restricted. It's just because we're getting redirected. We need to go somewhere else. We need to look somewhere else, right? So I was redirected after being in the mortgage industry for 19 years. I've had 38 jobs in 10 different industries. I've been around I call it life mileage. I've been around a little bit, right? So I've been redirected. I was redirected, and here we are. And we do things online using social media. Who knew? Who knew, right? But this whole gig economy is for real, folks. If you're not taking an opportunity, if you're not taking advantage of this whole online, the side gig, the gig economy is what I call it. If you're not taking advantage of that, I really truly feel it's a lost opportunity. It really is. How many people are doing? How many people do you know that are doing something online? Hey, they may be hiding that from you, right? The topic of the discussion for tonight, right? They may be keeping that from you, but I mean, look at the stats. Just look at the people that are doing something. The reality is things are more expensive and jobs don't pay more, and they are a lot less secure. Can we agree on that? Like, you have no job stability anymore. Seniority, Please. How many people do you know work for a company? 50. I know just 2 weeks ago, friend of mine, 15 years with the same company, laid off. Boom, done. See ya. Seniority don't count. Education doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters anymore, right? AI is replacing a lot of stuff. And it's just reality. You may just say, no, it's not. Okay, it's not. Have fun with what you got, right? The reality is that. So a lot of people are taking advantage of that. And I fell into that space. And not only I do it myself, because that's how I eat, I also help other people do the same. So if you like to have a side gig, if you like to check something out, if you've been curious or serious, either one, and you kind of want to look at an online space, online gig, hit and drop the word me in the comments, and I'll get back to you after this live. Again, if you're not following me, follow me. I'll tell you all day how awesome I am. And yeah, with that, hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value. I appreciate you guys. Drop your thoughts, your comments, your feedback below. If you feel like this is worthy of sharing, do what you got to do. Spread the love. Tag a couple people. Let's go. And with that, again, I am Sean Azimi, and I help folks just like you, just like me, make money online using the social media space. That's you. Drop the word me in the comments. I'll get back with you after this live. With that, I am signing off until tomorrow when we do it all over again. Much love.